I found a bug on my strawberry and grew it into a butterfly. At least what I thought would be a butterfly. I took the little green caterpillar and put her in my little animal kingdom, added some oats, some pieces of apple. I was determined to be a very good caterpillar mother, and I waited a few weeks for something to happen. But when I checked on it, I saw that there were numerous little bugs and they weren't green caterpillars, and I was very confused. I started to watch these little bugs morph into something other than a beautiful butterfly. I was itchy looking at these things and quite confused because I was hoping that maybe that little green caterpillar had babies and we would have 100 butterflies instead of just one. After all, it does look like a caterpillar, right?
Right.
So, to prepare for the birth of our butterflies, I did a few things. We needed to help the butterflies thrive. I got some milkweed seed pods, the host plant for monarch butterflies to lay their eggs on, in the hopes that I would not only grow a butterfly, but also have that butterfly become my pet and lay eggs on the milkweed leaves. The pods that I got my hands on weren't dried out yet, so I went back and got another dried pod, and I opened it to see that the seeds had turned brown and silky, and they were ready to plant in the soil. So I planted them in a little pot. Now, I've never grown milkweed before, so I figured this butterfly's gotta be bougie. Now, it is notoriously difficult to grow milkweed from seed, so just in case to
cut any losses,
I went to the plant store and I bought a milkweed plant so that we would for sure have leaves that these butterflies could lay their eggs on. Brought it home and planted it, and it would surely be ready for that butterfly once it sprouted out from that cocoon. Y'all, I even went as far as growing wildflowers from seeds. These flowers in specific help attract butterflies. Of course, I wanted a family of butterflies to come adopt my baby. So it's safe to say that I was ready to go to war, making sure this butterfly sprouted with my milkweed seed pods, my wildflowers, and my milkweed store-bought plant. That actually started to grow really nicely. As you can see, I was being a very good plant parent. It was even growing pink flowers. But as I was waiting for the butterfly to hatch, though, I saw that there were little moving things on this plant.
I was freaking out.
The store-bought milkweed plant had living, moving creatures on it, and this was my first time ever seeing this in my life. So at that point in time, I didn't realize that you could buy ladybugs and put them on the plant, and then the ladybugs would have a
5-course feast with their families.
Because they eat these things, what they call aphids. But since I only learned that after trying to get rid of the bugs myself, what I did was I put together a mixture of a teaspoon of oil, a teaspoon of dish soap, a tablespoon of baking soda, and some kelp plant fertilizer, and I diluted that in water, and I became a religious spritzer. Spritzed it on my plants every day, twice a day, until the bugs started to look like they were
Connors.
I basically became a ladybug. And once the bugs died,
R.I.P.
we got back to work. But you're probably wondering, well, plant lady, what in the heck happened to the little green caterpillar bug you found on your strawberry? Is it now a butterfly? And why were there so many in the little animal kingdom if there was only one caterpillar? Well, these things began to shed different linings, so I still had hope that they were butterflies, but soon I realized that this skin they were shedding was not caterpillar skin, it was mealworm skin, and they were turning into
Beetles.
Once I found this information out, I immediately took one of the worms and fed my Venus flytrap plant because these worms are like a nice steak and potatoes for Venus flytrap plants. So I fed them real nice. Reminded me of Seymour, but that little bug, oh my goodness, was wiggling its way out. That little was trying to escape from the left-hand corner, and I had to get it out of the soil fast because they're pests. They procreate like crazy, and they cannot be thrown outside or they'll infiltrate the dealer and
Find the supplier.
well, basically the entirety of your property, and you'll never be able to get rid of them. They kind of remind me of how when you're trying to get rid of ants, but they just always find their way back. Yeah, well, these are pests, and I was stumped because I really wanted butterflies. I realized that I knew why this turned into a mealworm and not a butterfly. A few months ago, I was doing some research and I learned that you can grow mealworms into beetles and watch the life cycle transform, and I thought that was extremely cool, yet kind of gross, and I knew they sold mealworms for pets like lizards and geckos in my local pet store, so you know what I did? I ran to the pet store, sprinted in fact, and purchased some mealworms, put them in their new home to morph into the next stages of their lives. And the thing with mealworms is that they continue to procreate, and once they have their eggs, they basically never die, and I didn't realize this when I got the mealworms, but I really wanted to get rid of those mealworms after watching the life cycle. Yes, it was really cool, but I really wanted these things out of my house, but at the same time I wanted to keep them. It was a weird feeling, like when you break up with an ex. You know it's wrong, but you can't stop going back. Well, if you're anything like me, you think this is fascinating too, because even though it's not butterflies, it's still so cool. But the wings will unfold, it will appear creamy in color, but then it will turn brown. As you can see, they started to procreate. And once they're brown, they're sexually mature, and they begin to look for a mate. And then when they mate, they have eggs that are minuscule in size. You can't see them with the eye. We had a lot of mealworms in this container. There were like 50 of them, right?
Well, anyhow,
I knew that I needed to find a solution to this problem, so I called up my friend Angel, because she is Lenny the gecko's mom, and I told her, hey, I have some mealworms for you, come pick them up. And she said, oh my god, I was actually wanting to start a mealworm farm with my dad for Lenny, so thank you so much, I'm on my way. She even gave me updates on whether or not Lenny the gecko liked them or not, and I think it's safe to say that there's a reason behind everything, and the reason this was not a butterfly but a mealworm really is for Lenny to
Feast daily on these things.
so that made me happy. But I was worried that the mealworms would grow back in my container, because I didn't give her my container, I gave them to her in a different one because I wanted to keep those to house different bugs. So as I was worrying about this, something else happened to me that also plays a huge role in this story, and it's this walnut. Now, I never really buy walnuts in the shells, but this time I was like, let's try to grow them. So I opened my walnut and found the brother of the mealworm chilling inside. Thank goodness heckin' I didn't eat these things, otherwise that would have been in my
Stomach.
And guess what? I got so excited that it could possibly be another caterpillar, but probably it was the mealworm brother's cousin. So I put it in its grow box, a different one, separate from the other ones, and right now I'm waiting to see if anything happens to it. It's chilling now with the mealworms beside their animal kingdom. So I did find a bug on my strawberry that likely was a caterpillar, but instead of a butterfly, it grew into hundreds of mealworms that I now call my children. And I even helped a lizard gecko friend get some nice meals, and Lenny is thriving. Now, since the butterflies didn't grow, at least I have milkweed host plants for monarch butterflies, wildflower annuals that attract pollinators, knowledge of how to kill aphids with a family of ladybugs, which we're probably gonna do this summer. We're gonna need to try that out, so maybe we'll have a ladybug kingdom this summer. And we also got a happy Venus flytrap plant and a little baby walnut bug that's currently still growing and morphing into its life stages. I will ensure that the butterfly I grow will be absolutely bougie, because you can bet your bottom that we're gonna be very determined to get my hands on a caterpillar so I can grow an actual baby butterfly. So this summer, I'm gonna go foraging every single weekend or every damn day until I find a caterpillar that I bring with me to grow into a butterfly. And I already know they like to eat carrot plants, okay? And I have lots of those. And it's gonna grow into a butterfly, and I'm gonna get all the milkweed and wildflowers, and all the leaves will be ready to house their eggs, and it'll be awesome. This just goes to show that not everything works out the way we want it to or expect it to. And even though this didn't really go as planned and we didn't grow butterfly
Yet.
we did learn a lot about other species in nature. And as for the mealworms,
I still don't really know what to do with these heckin' things.
but I guess I'll keep them as my children for now, or for now and always.
There's no escaping the left-hand corners anymore.
So, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this wacky, wild, inflatable journey with us. And don't forget to follow, press that
Subscribe button.
and just always remember that
I love you.
I'll see you next week.